Welcome to the Monday Masterclass. I am so excited that you all are here. We are going to be talking about the hidden connection between hormones, sleep, stress, and mental wellness. I was talking to someone today and I was like, mental health, mental wellness, it is so under provided. I'm not really sure if women know that this is needed. I don't know if women just are told by their provider this is just age. Y'all, it needs to be addressed. I did hear a, Harvard, provider talking, and they said that menopause was not educated on women's wellness, women's menopause. It has just been with the most recent, like 5 years or so, where they started to come out with prescriptions for menopause. There's a time and place for prescriptions, I will tell you, but I kind of got this ick. I kind of got the ick and I was like, oh, okay, so are you just waiting to see if there's a time for money to be made on this issue? Because this isn't just something that we need to slap a prescription on. There is mental health involved. And I'm not talking about, this was a prescription that someone made and it was like for menopause. And I'm like, but not everybody's symptoms are the same. So how are you going to put, and it was in these blister pack capsules. I put the post on my Facebook page and I was like, no, no, no. This is so interesting that for I get it. I may sound like like a weird juxtaposition is there was no help for women from their medical providers, and now that there's money to be made, there's a prescription. Now I'm upset. Well, if you know anything about me, you know that I'm a naturopath. I understand. I've been doing this education for 30 years. Yes, even in perimenopause, I was giving this education. Even before I was in perimenopause, I was giving this information. Why? Because I already knew ahead of time to do the research, and I did. I did not, I mean, it wasn't in, they didn't give it to the doctors in medical school. So where did I get it? I got it from asking questions. I got it from we didn't have Google back then. This was asking women questions and receiving information and then taking the information and making an educated decision. And this is times of when they were still talking about, I mean, women have still had issues with hormones, women still had issues with sleep, they had issues with stress, postpartum changes, anxiety, burnout, inflammation, nutrition issues. I've done the GLP-1 education for so long that I'm like, to some people think that it's this brand new concept when it's not. So, women, if you are in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, if you are a postpartum mom, if you are a caregiver, if you are a doctor, if you are a nurse practitioner, if you are a naturopathic doctor, if you are someone who is a coach for health and wellness, let's have a conversation. Listen up. What about men experiencing burnout? Y'all, this is the thing. Not just women have hormones, okay? And not just men have testosterone. Okay. I want to talk to people who identify as having some mental health issues, but don't feel right. Everybody knows me. My name is Connie. I am a deep dive nurse. I am the one that gets in there and I ask the tough questions. I ask the providers. I do the research. In fact, I was a research nurse for a really good while, neuro-oncology. So trust me when I say, um, I used to work in neuro ICU. Now I am a stroke educator for stroke prevention. So when I talk about this, just know your girl comes with receipts. I come with a really good resume. Okay. So I want you to grab something to drink because today's conversation explores one of the most common concerns I hear from women and families. Why am I so tired, anxious, overwhelmed, and not feeling like myself. In this educational class, we will be discussing the hidden connections between hormones, stress, sleep, inflammation, nutrition, and mental wellness. If I cannot stress this enough, when I'm talking to you, I just want you to know that your sleep and your sleep and nutrition, those can be some of the big, big factors that can affect stress and mental wellness, and including inflammation, and then obviously hormones. So I feel like it's a package deal here. So let's dive in. The topics that we are going to be talking about, are hormones and mood changes, sleep deprivation and emotional health, stress, cortisol, and burnout, women's health and mental wellness. We're going to be talking about postpartum considerations, perimenopause and menopause changes. Those are not the same. Perimenopause changes are not the same as menopause changes. Trust me when I say that. Oh, do I love to dive into conversations with women who are postmenopause, because those are my girls that are Stella gets her groove back. I've said that at many a conference. This is when Stella does. Stella gets her groove back. Okay. All right. So let's talk about anxiety and overwhelm, the role of inflammation and nutrition, because I really think those two, inflammation and nutrition, I think those could be in the same. I could literally do an hour discussion on inflammation and nutrition, especially when it comes to if you have plaque psoriasis, especially when it comes to stroke prevention, cardiovascular risks, neurological risks. Oh, yeah. And let's also talk about why those normal labs do not always mean quote unquote optimal health. I've seen many clients that said my lab work is so normal. Like I've done the saliva, I've done the blood test, and I everything shows normal. Well, let's just ask a question. Was your saliva and was your urine test, was it done at a specific time in your menstrual cycle? And if your menstrual cycle is off, then oh my goodness, we need to have a deeper dive conversation about when it should, could have been, can be done. Yes, you can. You can get that urine test, especially with Dutch, at a specific time period, especially if you are having abnormal menstrual cycles. I don't care. PCOS. Um, oh, what's the other one? It's not coming to my brain, but let's have the conversation. All the acronym salad. Okay. So as a registered nurse with over 30 years of experience in women's wellness education, my goal has always been and will be to help people better understand their bodies, their symptoms, and the questions that they may want to discuss with their healthcare provider. Oh, yes, I absolutely do. I love helping my clients speak to their medical provider in a way that it's like, okay, what I'm hearing you say is this, which is a cluster of words and phrases and symptoms. And let's break that down. Let's break it down into a wonderful way that you can communicate to your provider. If I'm your provider, then we already know what we're going to be working on. Okay. So we're going to be talking about something that affects everyone at some point in life. Yep, everyone. And why is this so important? Is because I don't want you to jump on the MLM link train. I don't want you to dive into the digital waiting room where people are ready to pounce on you and throw a link at you and really not be able to help you. I saw a woman because I could see the name. I saw a woman and she was asking questions and she said, I want a provider that won't just send me a link. I want someone who knows MTHFR. And I'm like, I got you. MTHFR, let's have a conversation. Let's take a look at your genetic pattern. Let's take a look at specific foods. Let's take a look at supplementation because that's necessary if you have MTHFR. Let's talk about your infertility journey. Let's also talk about your cardiovascular risks. So, I was hoping that this information that I provided to whoever saw it, because even if it wasn't the person who made the post, whoever saw it, yes, I do. I get people who look at my website. I get people who look at the way that I comment, and they're like, you just knew what I needed. What you say on your website, I knew that you would be the person that I needed to talk to. um, I was talking to a client today, and she said that she was just so leery because there's so many people out there that cost so much money and they're so expensive, and you really don't know what you're going to get. And I was like, everything. And she agreed, everything is on my website. Pricing, I have nothing to hide. I am a multi-state licensed registered nurse. It is the same price whether you live in Tennessee or Texas. If you live in Michigan or wherever you live, if you live in Oklahoma, it's the same price. So to some, it may be wildly expensive, and to others, it's like, are you sure that's the price you want to charge? Yes, yes, I am sure that is the price I want to charge. Why? Because by the time people see me, they've already spent $3,500 to $10,000 before you even met me. And you're going to see me for the same thing that you've already spent the $3,500 to $10,000 on. So if you want free resources, attend this Monday masterclass. If you want to, uh, um, if you want even more free resources, if you really want to check me out, go to the YouTube page, Self Care University. Okay, you will find it. Click on some things, tap the subscribe button. Let me know that you're there. Leave a comment in the videos and let me know what stood out to you. Let me know what you still have questions about. Let's have a conversation. No one's going to try to dial you in and make you make an appointment. That information is already in the description. So if you wanted to do that, you would already have done it or will do it. Okay. So I do want to talk to you about feeling exhausted, feeling overwhelmed, oh, feeling anxious, the cortisol levels. When the body is in this constant state of fight or flight, even if there is no bear in sight. It's like there's this invisible bear. Sometimes I call it a gummy bear, the clear ones, the one that really tastes delicious, right? But we're not thinking that about that one. We're talking about the bear that's just always there, and we're always feeling like it's going to come out and get us, and what in the world's going on. What about feeling like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders? We were talking today about how women in their lifetime are 1 out of 5 more likely to have a stroke. And then the thing is when women uh, go to the hospital, they are the ones that are less likely to go to the hospital versus men because of, we were just bouncing around some ideas today about maybe women being like, well, is this menstrual? Is my headache from my menstruation issues? Is my is my tingling of my arm, is that from I just had a baby and like this is what it's going to be like? Y'all, we need to have a conversation, right? Feeling like the world is on your shoulders and feeling like I can't go to the ER because I don't have time. Well, no one has time. But here's the thing is when you're not here and you're not present and you're gone from this earth. Okay, so yes, feeling like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, it is not worth a heart attack. It's not worth a stroke. It's not worth it to eat like crap, right? Also, many people begin asking themselves, what's wrong with me? Okay, well, let's have a conversation. What's wrong with the deep dive? I love diving into deep dives. If you feel like you want to keep your primary care provider, but you're like, I know this nurse is full of education. I know this nurse is going to draw out questions from me and we're really going to get to the root of the problem. Yes. What is wrong? What is the matter? What is the issue? What's the concern? I'm concerned if you're concerned, and I will help bring it out of you as much as you want to have a conversation about it, right? Because the first thing I want you to know is this. Sometimes there's nothing wrong with you. Sometimes your body is simply asking for help. So, as a nurse, one thing I've learned is that many people immediately assume mental wellness only happens in the brain. No way. I was just talking about kidneys. I was just talking about inflammation, right? We are inflammation over the entire body, but our mental wellness is connected to our entire body. The whole thing, from the tips of our toes to the top of our head. Okay. Yep. It is connected to our hormones, our sleep, stress levels, our nutrition, our relationships, our inflammation. And what about, yes, even including our overall health? Okay. Mental wellness is connected to our entire body and it is connected to, yes, even our overall health. Well, let's start with sleep. When we do not sleep well, our bodies struggle to recover. Why? There is so much going on during that precious time of sleep. The REM, REM, the REM sleep, where the muscles are recovering, the tissues are recovering, the cells are doing what they're supposed to do, and the pancreas is doing what it's supposed to do to regulate that hormone, right? Your insulin levels, and it's doing what it's supposed to do. But when we wake up, when we have that interrupted sleep, we are cranky, we are eating terrible, we are moody, we are, you're right, that stress hormone, it can become elevated. Our cravings can increase. Oh, our patience plummets. Our ability to focus absolutely changes. What's wrong with you? What's happening to you? What's going on? I'd really love for you to go and get some help. Is that something that you're hearing from your loved ones? Well, please know that I'm asking you kindly to not take offense to that. If someone's noticing these weird cravings, you are so moody and agitated, you just can't concentrate. Okay, it is time for us to ask the question, are you beginning to feel emotionally exhausted? I would say yes, right? Now let's talk about stress. Stress is not always emotional. It can be financial stress, relationship stress, caregiving stress, work stress. Now, if you have work stress, I'm going to ask you to press the pause button here. If you have work stress, are you in the right job? Are you doing what you're called to do? Are you doing the right thing? Are you supposed to go back to school, but you realize that you're under financial hardship? But just realize that if you went back to school and you got that education of the thing that you would just love to do, and you knew that you got a full ride scholarship to go for $0 and 0 cents, trust me when I say that work stress will go down because you got a plan. If you have work stress, I would ask if you are someone who doesn't know how to say no. I would ask you if you are someone who is bringing it on, or is there someone in your workspace that just needs to be tattled on? Blow the whistle, do the thing, or get out of that job. There are times There's just times when you just got to scoot on. What about chronic pain? Some people say that chronic pain is just from an injury. Um, well, I have seen chronic pain turn into dependence on chemical products. And the dependence on the chemical products can actually bring financial hardship, right? Where the the chemical product that you're using for the chronic pain is making you sleepy, it's making you tired, it's making you groggy, it's making you feel like you just want to just sleep all the time, right? It is time. It is time to talk to someone about that chronic pain because that stress, those muscles that are so tense, that's not how they're supposed to be. We don't always need to be in pounce mode. We don't need to always be in run mode. We don't need to be in mode of where we're constantly looking behind our back. We don't need to be in this state of going, well, I'm just always going to be in pain. Well, this pain is always going to be there. My knee pain, my neck pain, my back pain. Trust me when I say ask your provider for the least invasive first. For if you could try something natural, if you could try like a magnesium spray, try that. Or is the chronic pain from something that you actually had a real injury? Is it time for some sort of a scan, like an MRI, X-ray? What needs to happen? And even if you don't have health insurance, there are places that do self-pay for an MRI or an X-ray for way less than if you had it in health insurance. All right. What is the poor sleep from? So let's talk about poor sleep. Why do you have poor sleep? Do you have an uncomfortable pillow? Do you have an uncomfortable bed? Is it too bright in your room? Is it too loud in your room? Do you need to tell someone that it's just not gonna work to have the TV on in the room? Because the flickering of the flashing of the lights and the sound, even if they have the volume down so low, why do you have poor sleep? I was having a conversation with a lady today, and I said, I've had to tell my clients that a glass of wine to 2 glasses of wine is actually uh, contributing to their poor sleep. We had a deep discussion about it, and it was not for them. It's just not. So we had to talk about if you're going to have the 1 to 2 glasses of wine, we had to talk about a different time frame to do that so that they could still enjoy their drink. And also, if you are using alcohol to go to sleep, seek medical attention as soon as possible. If you are not saying that's what my clients did, I'm just adding that if you have to use alcohol to go to sleep, it is time to seek medical attention as soon as you can get on the phone and get someone to take your call and make an appointment and tell them what you're doing. All right. Be as honest as possible because judgment is what you're doing to yourself for you to not make the appointment. That's not happening inside the doctor's office. That doesn't happen inside my office. I'm not judging my clients for having a drink or for not sleeping or not eating uh, correctly. Even if I give them a protocol and a regimen and they're not doing it, I'm not judging. I'm there. I just know that some things take time and they just want to process. Is that for them? Why is that for them? Why do they want to do that? Why do they really need that? Even though I've already said it, that's okay. You have autonomy. You can decide what you want to do. If you are emancipated, um, or 18 and over, you have full autonomy, right? Unless you have a power of attorney and then, blah, 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 all the things. All right, so let's talk about illness. Well, what is the illness from? Do you have an autoimmune issue? Do you have MTHFR? I mean, because that's going to be something for life. That is for life. That doesn't go away. It's not a healing thing. Do you have celiac disease? That's for life. I get it. That is to some people like, oh my gosh, I can't do this because I have celiac disease. Okay, let's just be honest. That is it's a disease, it's a diagnosis, but like, is it creating an illness? Because if so, are you eating properly? Are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? When I say, are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? Are you following a gluten-free or a celiac, diet, right? Because there should be, you should be on a regimen, you should be on a lifestyle, you should be doing things that if it's developing into an illness, then something that you're doing is just not working, right? That's my really terrible Italian accent. I know that there are people who feel like they have to constantly be on. That light switch has to constantly be on for everyone else. No. Remember, it's just as easy. We were just having the conversation. Repeat after me. No. Got it. If you didn't say it, okay, we're still working, right? We still got this. But if you said it, congratulations. Okay. Because our bodies were designed to handle a short period of stress because that's our kidneys. They've got those receptors and it's sending it up to the brain saying, what catecholamines, we're supposed to do this, all the things that are happening. Okay. But we were not designed to live where the catecholamines are always doing their thing, always firing off. Let's see someone, even if you're seeing your general practitioner, your primary care provider, if you're just not getting there, see a specialist. I specialize in helping drawing that out and getting that out so that it can actually be on the top of the table. So it could be a communication you can have with the specialist. I can help refer you, recommend you, let's go, right? It costs $0 for me to refer you to anyone who I know is a good specialist. Okay. I vet a lot of people. If I don't know them, then I would suggest you do your own research. Do your research on me. I always ask my clients before they sign up with me, make sure you look at the reviews. Do a do a Google search. Find out Self-Care University okay. Find out Connie Street. Find out if I'm saying what I'm, if I'm doing what I'm saying, right? There's just too many links and too many things and you know what? I'm not here to bamboozle anybody. I have way too much time to focus on the real thing than to focus on someone believing if I'm a scammer or not. Can't go there. Not it. Remember, when stress becomes chronic, many people begin experiencing fatigue, anxiety, brain fog, poor sleep, weight gain, digestive concerns, and also burnout. Okay, there that word comes again. By the time of filming this, it's in the summertime. Burnout is still there. It's still apparent, especially if you're a teacher. You might have had a really tough, semester. You might be burnt out if you are a student and you were just like, May was rough, you know, or if you are at the end of December, you're like, December was wild. You decide. Okay. Now that's the chronic stress. So if that burnout is chronic and you're on your last semester, let's go. Punch it out. Get it done. Graduate. Let's go. Let's do it. You're going to pass. You're going to ace your test. You're going to pass your boards. You're going to do great. It's just that last stretch that you can make it, right? Don't be the statistics that drop out. You're financially stable, able to do it. Done. Go. Get it done. Now, let's talk about hormones. So, for women, especially, hormones can fluctuate. Okay. That hormone can fluctuate and it can influence your mood, your sleep, your energy, motivation, stress tolerance, and emotional resilience. Now, this can happen during postpartum recovery, Perimenopause, menopause. What about those life-changing events that are so significant? Sure can. Absolutely. Now, many women tell me, I just don't feel like myself anymore. And I will tell you that deserves attention. Now, I also want to discuss inflammation. So, most people think inflammation only means pain or swelling. Absolutely not. No way. Do you have that swollen gut after you eat, especially after 20 to 30 minutes, even 15? Or you have an acid reflux after you eat? Well, let's have a conversation about that inflammation, right? Are you living on Tums, Pepto-Bismol? Are you like even 3 years in to Prilosec, things like that? Oh, let's have a conversation. Okay, let's have a conversation. So, inflammation it may also contribute to fatigue, brain fog, mood changes, sleep concerns, and also like that feeling of just like, oh, I just don't feel good. Like, why don't I feel good? I just don't feel good, right? Let's hop into a conversation about nutrition. Our brains need nutrients. Our hormones, yep, they need nutrients. Our hormones are all over our body. They're not just in the fat cells, but yes, estrogen can reside there as like, hey, just here unless you need me, and hormone or estrogen is in other places, but like estrogen can camp out right there in those fat cells and be like, girl, I got you, dude, got you. And we're like, no, we don't need you. You're like messing with my estrogen levels. Okay. Our bodies, they need nutrients, the whole body. So if we are under eating, skipping meals, I'm not talking about intermittent fasting. There are some people who thrive during intermittent fasting. They are eating from 11 to 6, and it's like, let's go. But if you are one of those people that eats once a day and you eat from 11 to noon, ooh, are you under eating? All right. Are you just throwing 2,400 calories, 1,200 calories into one meal? And you're like, let's go. Now I'm going to need, this is going to last me throughout my entire day. Let's have a conversation, right? What if you're constantly relying on caffeine? And I don't just mean coffee. I'm talking about you name the brand. Think of a caffeinated beverage that can really give you that energy, if you will, right? What about if you're struggling with blood sugar swings, where you feel like your head is dizzy, and then you also feel like you're cold and clammy? You feel like you check your blood sugar and it's 900. Whoo, let's go to the ER, right? Or you check your blood sugar and it's in the 40s or 50s. We're not okay. We're not okay. Yeah, we need to not be getting in the car. No way. We need to be calling 911, right? Because there are so many different things going on. Stress, cortisol. We're really are you type 1 or type 2 diabetic and you're constantly stressed? Oh, let's have a conversation about we need to bring some of that mental healthiness in. Okay. So we may feel the effects physically and emotionally. This is why I always encourage people to stop looking at symptoms in isolation. I was just talking about all those other symptoms and how all the other um, things that could be happening. Well, which one is it? All right, well, let's have a conversation. Okay, these are questions that should be asked. How am I sleeping? How stressed am I? How am I eating? What symptoms am I noticing? What has changed recently? Remember, we were talking about those lifestyle changes. Did you get married? Okay, well, you're not getting married every day. You're not getting married every month. You're not getting married every year, right? It's just wild if you are. But you know what I mean? Is that something that's just going on? Doesn't mean that you can't see someone or talk to someone, especially if you're getting married or buying a house or making a big life decisions about college. Yes. Have a conversation with me. Let's go. Let's get that self-care coach talking. Let's get that time in the books. Let's really get those words out that need to be said because when you bottle it up, nope, 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 right? But I will tell you, normal does not always mean optimal. Understanding the bigger picture often helps you find clarity, really. Test is worth $1 million. Just get the test done. No, most people don't have a test done because they don't want to see the results because they know it's going to be like, oh, I've got to have to change my life. Yeah, that would be a great thing if you did. If those test results showed that you needed that. Why? Because quality of life. I say this a lot in my senior living teaching moments. I do classes. It's called Glow and Grounded. Everybody knows this whenever I talk about quality of life. Quality of life is typically heard during hospice. We just want them to have a good quality of life, pain management, as long as there's quality of life, uh, activities of daily living according to their quality of life, right? Oh, please, can we have the conversation about quality of life before you enter hospice? And no, hospice is not just in your 80s. There are people that are in hospice in their 30s, 40s, 20s, younger than that. Okay. But let's just not bring on the tears. We just know that there is time to have the conversation. It's time. Okay. Understand the bigger picture because you need clarity. Get the test done. Get it done. Ask if anybody, you don't have to go and do a GoFundMe or anything like that. If you don't have health insurance, ask them if they have a payment plan. I have a payment plan, right? So, all right, you well, thank you so much for joining me today. And if this conversation resonated with you, I invite you to learn more through my website or schedule a free consultation. And you do not have to figure out everything alone. We might get to the bottom of your problem during your first call. Yay for that. But I do appreciate that I am not the type of provider that you need to consistently see me all the time, all the time. But can you? Yes. But if you are needing mental health, if that is your lane, that if that is what you need, and I see that's the lane you're needing, I will refer you to a wonderful mental health provider. If you are listening to this and you are out of state, remember, I'm a multi-state licensed registered nurse. I would love to refer you to a phenomenal mental health provider. Remember, I told you I know a lot of people in a lot of places, right? That's what I do. I connect, I collaborate, I refer because if it is not something I can do, I refer it out. Let's go, right? Let's get you what you need. So, thank you all for being here. I will see you next Monday for another Monday masterclass. Where to find this? It is in the Self Care University OK Wellness group. It is on Facebook. You are able to actually type that in on a Google search. Self Care University OK Wellness Group, and you will see that it is a Facebook page. You are welcome to take a look at it. The Monday Masterclass is open to the public. You do not have to be a part of the group, but if you are a part of the group, it is free. It is private, though. It is free, and you are able to get a reminder that talks about this class. All right, so next Monday, we are going to be talking about why some people seem to lose weight easily, while others feel like they're doing everything right and nothing is working. We'll discuss those hormones, metabolism, inflammation, genetics, and the hidden reasons weight loss can become so frustrating. All right, just remember your body isn't broken. It's just trying to figure it out with you. Okay. So just remember because normal does not mean always optimal. All right. So I will see you all next time.